Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. I'm here with a stack of books today on my couch because Mr. Man, the Benjamin, is currently sitting in my usual filming chair, so yeah, can't film over there because obviously I'm not going to disturb him while he's sleeping. He's just a little old man, he needs his rest. So we're on the couch today and I have this stack of books. Because although I say I'm not a TBR person and I tell myself I'm not going to make more TBRs, I made another TBR, guys. And it's because I have been seeing people making their 10 before the end, books I want to read before the end of the year TBRs. And I was like, I love an end of the year TBR. I'm not going to lie, I love it. I love an end of the year TBR. So I made an end of the year TBR. We're going to talk about 10 books that I want to read before the year ends. Now, I don't actually think I'll get through all 10 of these books because this is a pretty chunky pile, and this isn't even all the books because some of them I don't own physically. Yeah, you see the problem? And the other problem is that I am currently on a knitting kick. I have become a knitting fiend. Currently working on this sweater right now that I've just been knitting away. I'm very excited to be done that and wear it for the actual winter season. So I've been doing that instead of reading. But I do want to read. And once I kind of get through the sweater, I do have more knitting projects, but I don't think I'm going to be quite as excited. I'm going to try and hold back because there's only so much yarn that I have in budget to be buying for knitting projects, so I need to make them last. But books! We're here to talk about books. This is my reading channel. This is my channel to talk about books and reading. So here we are. I do have a list of 10 books. I don't actually think I'm going to read all 10, but I do also like to make a TBR that's bigger than what I think I'm going to read so that I have choice within the set list of books. You know what I mean? So the first book on the list is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I've been working 2 years plus on doing a critical reread of this series, and this is the last book, and I want to get this critical reread of this book done before the end of the year. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't like talking about this series on here because I do not support J.K. Rowling, but I did want to critically reread one of my favorite series as a child, and you know what? I read it, so I'm going to mention it, but I'm not going to talk about it more than that. Book number 2 on the list, Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is is this the 4th main book, 5th book including the prequel of Throne of Glass. I am reading this series book by book in a little fun reading vlog series that I've been having a great time with. This is the chonkiest book yet in the series. I'm very excited to kind of get back into this, and I do want to make sure I make at least one more Throne of Glass video before the end of the year, and this is going to be the one to do it because I think after this are the 2 books that I'm going to attempt to tandem read, as my friend Melina has suggested I do, and she's convinced me. So I will be making a reading vlog reading this book, and then stay tuned for the probably ginormous reading vlog that will be me attempting to tandem read. What is it? It's not Kingdom of Ash because that's the last book, I think. It's Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn? Question mark? Guys, I always forget all of the Throne of Glass series titles. They just they don't stick in my brain for some reason. These are kind of going in importance of me wanting to read, I guess, kind of. So I then have a reread. I want to do a reread of Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and that is because it's currently November. It's actually snowing outside right now. It's so November, it's snowing, okay? I mean, I live in Canada. This is not that shocking, but I'm still gonna act shocked every year when it snows. But I want to do a reread of Quicksilver because the book on the list after Quicksilver for my TBR is Brimstone, which is the sequel to this, which I will be having coming my way, I think, probably a week to 2 weeks from now. I think it comes out on the 17th. I want to say. I want to do a reread of Quicksilver, and then I'll read Brimstone. So that's books 3 and 4 on my TBR list before the end. Even though this is a pretty chonky book, I did read it pretty fast the first time, and because it's romantasy, it does kind of read a bit faster than some kind of more traditional high fantasy books, I find. And this is just this is kind of in the same category as A Court of Thorns and Roses for me, that whole series, Akatar series, just because it's bingeable and fun. I don't actually think it makes that much sense or that it's that amazing, but oh buddy, oh boy, did I have such a fun time just absolutely popcorn reading this. So I want to read it again because I did actually buy it. The first time I read it digitally, and then I got the physical copy, guys. My bad. Oops. But I did really like it. And I like to reread books, as you can tell, because I'm going to reread this book before the end of the year. It's going to happen. Trust me. So, number 5 on the list, I do have The Winners by Fredrik Backman. I've literally been talking all year about how I'm going to read this book, and I still have not read it. And it's like, partially because I wanted to read it in the winter, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to be emotionally devastated. And then it was like, it's a break. Like, insert like every possible excuse I've given this month after month of this year, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna read this before the end of the year. I'm gonna finish the series. I'm gonna be down one more series for my spreadsheet by finishing Beartown. This is the 3rd book in Beartown, so that's gonna happen. Also, I'll probably like try and make another vlog for like finishing series, and this will be in it. This is like a pretty chunky book, and I don't know how much I'm gonna have to say, so whether I'm going to actually read another book in that video, who knows. I try to keep them like relatively short, but then I also want to read more than one book in a video, but sometimes, like, you know, it is what it is. So the next book I have on my TBR is The Idiot by Elif Batuman. This is a book that I actually started reading, and I am a third ish of the way through, but I started reading this in August, and then I got struck by the ever dreaded slump, and I never finished it. So I would really love to like kind of pick this up again, start from the beginning probably because it's been a couple months, and read this book and like finish this book in 2025. I remember like when I was reading it, I was like having a good time, but then I just really got like thrown out of it, and then it felt like so long since I had picked it up that I'd have to start it over again, and I didn't want to start it over again because I read a third of it, and then time just kept on ticking by, and now here I am, you know, suffering the consequences of my own actions. So I do really want to finish this before the end of the year. I feel like then that will be like the official me ending my slump, is finishing the book that I was reading when I went into the slump. And going into the slump was not the fault of that book. That book just unfortunately suffered the consequences of the slump. I then have on the list Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is the final book in Chestnut Springs. I'm currently reading Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is the 4th book in Chestnut Springs. And this is like one other series that I have really high hopes of finishing in 2025. And then I can start reading her new series, which is the like Wild Love, Wild Card. Like they all are like wild whatever. I'm like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 books behind. Because that series has like quite a few released now. But I have like a rule with myself. I'm not allowed to read 2 series by the same author at the same time. Gotta read one. It's a rule I have for myself in my reading to keep myself under control. And I really love Chestnut Springs, and I've been really liking... I've kind of been on the fence about Reckless, actually. I'm like halfway through it right now, and it is very like miscommunication-y, but then so far the like miscommunication has like been resolved a little quickly, but now there's new miscommunication, and then like that was like resolved, and then there's new miscommunication. So how much miscommunication is going to be happening? And like the thing is that it's like semi-logical miscommunication, but there's only like so much of that I can deal with, and I do like really like the characters, and like I like the general premise of the story. I'm just like hoping that the miscommunication isn't going to slog it down for me. But anyway, that's Reckless, the 4th book, and then once I read that, there's only one book left, and that book is Hopeless, and I really want to read that before the end of the year so I can finish reading Chestnut Springs. That's the plan. That's the plan. This is what this whole thing is. It's a plan. Will it be actionable? Who's going to hold me accountable? To myself. So number 8 on the list, I have The Dark Prophecy by Riordan. This is the 2nd book in the Trials of Apollo series, which is like kind of part of the Percy Jackson universe. And I read The Hidden Oracle, which is the 1st book, in October, and I would like to read like one more before the end of the year, just because I like to make progress in series, and I don't like to have too much space in between reading books and series if I can avoid it, especially series where it's interconnected. So like books like the Chestnut Springs books, where they're much more standalone books that are in a series, I don't mind having more time in between those. But for like fantasy books, especially fantasy series books, I like to try and read them a little close together, like only like a couple months between them max. Ideally, does it happen all the time? No, but that's like the goal, but I try to achieve so things are relatively fresh in the noggin when I'm continuing on in the series, you know? So I would like to read another one of that series before the end of the year. Number 9 on this list is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. And this is like kind of also including Mockingjay, the third book. I am planning to do a reading vlog of rereading Hunger Games for the first time in 10 years. And I'm currently reading The Hunger Games. And so I do want to, at minimum, also read Catching Fire, ideally read all 3 and have that video ready and posted before the new year. But look, guys, at this point, like, I don't trust myself to be achieving things. The winter is hard to accomplish stuff in. I feel so unmotivated the second daylight savings ends. Also, why are we saving the daylight during the summer? This should be when daylight savings begins. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this? But I do want to read more of The Hunger Games from that reread that I'm doing. So far, it's been fun. The Hunger Games is definitely like the first book is the one I remember the most of, and there's still like quite a lot that I'm like, I forgot that happened, because it's been like a decade, you know? So it's been really fun revisiting that and seeing how I think about it now, and I'm excited to like kind of continue in that series also. These books are so pretty, these editions. Love them. And then the final book that I put on this list, book number 10 for my 10 before the end, is, what is it called? Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson. This is like the third book in the Ernest Cunningham series, and it is like Christmas related, obviously based off the title. So I would like to read it before the end of the year so that I can like read a Christmassy book around Christmas. I think it would be lots of fun to do. So I do hope to do that. Last year around Christmas time, I read Love Light Farms, which was like my first time kind of reading like a holiday book during the holiday season. I'm not usually like that seasonal of a reader. Like, I have my own reading seasons, you know, like I like reading more general fiction and lit fic in the summer, and I like reading fantasy in the fall, but like I don't like read Halloween books around Halloween and like read Christmas books around Christmas normally. And it was kind of fun to do it last year, so I thought, hey, I'm in the middle of this series, it has a Christmas book, it's almost Christmas, that works out really well, maybe I should try and read a Christmas book around Christmas time again. So those are the 10 books I have on my TBR to try and read before the end of the year, and that's like kind of all I have to say this week. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, get a little thumbs up, happen like me, consider subscribing, I'd be happy to have you. Let me know if you have made a end of the year TBR or a 10 before the end or whatever it is, or if you don't make TBRs at all, what do you think of the books I put on mine? Do you believe I'm going to achieve them? I kind of have doubts in myself, not gonna lie, but also let me know your thoughts on any of the books I have on my TBR, or if you're planning to read them, let me know. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.